The third division mind map on the Second Punic War, Hannibal's invasion of Italy. It's Rome's response to Hannibal. How did Rome respond to this invasion? How did that response change over the 15 or so years of this war? So, when Hannibal first attacked Rome, the Romans went straight at him in the typical Roman style and lost. So, first off, why did they lose at first? So you've got first Roman commander Hannibal came across was Scipio the Elder, who he defeated at the Battle of Ticinus. Then at Trebia he defeated Sempronius. At Lake Trasimene he defeated Flaminius, and he also died. And at Cannae the two consuls were Paulus and Varro, and Paulus died. So why did they lose? They all lost because Hannibal could predict exactly how they were going to fight. They were going to fight in a typical hyper-aggressive Roman way, straight at him. Scipio leads a cavalry attack, loses Sicinus. Sempronius is easily enraged by Hannibal, charges across the river, freezing river at dawn, and is trapped at the Trebia, Mago's trap. Flaminius is enraged and chases after Hannibal without checking for a trap at Lake Trasimene, and he's wiped out and killed. Paulus and Varro have this massive army which they just bundle towards Hannibal and he can trap them. So they lost because of Hannibal knew what they were going to do. Yeah. One last thing to add here. Homo novus, new man. In the sources, it is often mentioned, is often implied. Homo novus is a new man. It means somebody whose family have never been big shots in Rome until then. And Varro and Flaminius are both new men, and it is implied that they lost because they were new men, because they didn't have the right stuff about them family-wise. But in reality, it's probably they didn't have powerful families to write the history about them afterwards. So, after the Battle of Trasimene is when Rome went for the Fabian strategy for the first time. Named after Fabius Maximus, who was elected dictator. And he came up with the idea of not fighting Hannibal. He's the one who worked out, we can't lose this war if we're clever. We can't beat Hannibal in battle. We can't defeat his army. But we can wear him down. We'll have an army, we'll follow him around, we'll stop him gathering supplies, we'll wear him out, attrition. We've got too many men, too much money, too many allies. This strategy was working, but the Romans didn't like it. They nicknamed Fabius Pedagogus, the slave who carries around a schoolboy's bags, Cunctator, the delayer. At the Agia Falernus, where they had Hannibal trapped, because of Fabius's caution, he was able to escape. And that meant Fabius's second-in-command, Minucius, the master of horse, was able to say, this is not working. He was given an army, and at Geronium, he faced Hannibal and was about to be wiped out. He was trapped again when Fabius rescued him. So the Fabian strategy was working. After 6 months, Fabius stopped being dictator, and the Romans went back to their old way of just straight at him. And then they had their huge disaster at Cannae, which we've already talked about, where 50-odd thousand Romans are killed. And then the Romans go back to the Fabian strategy. But they go back to it for the next 12 years. Yeah? They won't have massive armies and go for big all-or-nothing battles. They do have battles against him. A leading Roman general at the time, Marcellus, who does fight several battles against Hannibal. Hannibal has to divide his army to defend his southern territories. Marcellus won't fight him with a huge army, but he will fight him with a smaller army, and he often loses these battles, but he's never wiped out. At the same time as they're wearing Hannibal down in Italy, they're expanding the war. The Romans have lots of armies. They just don't lump them all together. So if one army or two armies are shadowing Hannibal, there's another two armies attacking his allies wherever Hannibal is not. So if Hannibal is in Capua, there's two Roman armies shadowing him near Capua. Another two armies are attacking, let's say, Tarentum. Hannibal goes to Tarentum, they attack Capua. And that leads to the wider strategy of squeezing Hannibal. They retake Syracuse in Sicily. They retake Capua. They retake Tarentum. When Hannibal comes to reinforce his brother, he's defeated at the Metarius River and killed. When Mago invaded Italy, and they managed to trap him in Liguria, not big bad Hannibal, but trying to squeeze him. At the same time, Rome is fighting all over the Western Mediterranean. They're fighting in Greece, yeah? And most in particular, they're fighting in Spain. The Romans keep on sending troops in. They can see how important Spain is to the Carthaginian war effort. That's why they keep it up. The more troops they send to the more places, the more they make Hannibal and the Carthaginians spread their forces out. So old man Scipio is the leader in Spain for 5 years till he's killed in 211 BC. And in 211 BC, Scipio the Younger, the man who's going to become Africanus, he's given command. Within a few months, and a daring attack, he's captured their capital, New Carthage. He retrains the army. He has the best Roman army. They can maneuver. They don't just attack one way like other Roman armies. He makes allies of the Spanish tribes and a Numidian prince called Massinissa. And by doing all this, he can defeat the Carthaginian armies, and he really takes Spain, which really seriously weakens Carthage and Hannibal. Following year, he's given the command of an invasion force for Africa, for Carthage. This is controversial because he's too young, but he gets it anyway. It's also controversial because it's sort of going against the Fabian strategy. It's risky, but he invades. He defeats Carthaginian armies in Africa. Two big battles, Battle of the Camps, Battle of the Great Plains, defeats Carthage and their allies and starts to threaten Carthage itself. And because of that, he forces Carthage to recall Hannibal to defend the mother city. So the response changes over time. When he first attacks, they go straight for him and lose heavily. They go for a clever strategy for 6 months, but can't bring themselves to do it. Suffer the worst disaster ever, but carry on. Go back to the clever strategy. And as part of that, they're constantly attacking anywhere Hannibal isn't, until finally, by 202 BC, they've forced Hannibal to go back to Africa.